Welcome to episode 5 of the Success Show podcast, where we dive deep into the stories and expertise of extraordinary individuals shaping the landscape of their respective fields. Today's conversation is with the managing director of Jindal Stainless, India's number one stainless steel producer, Mr. Abhyuday Jindal. In this episode, we spoke about his journey all the way from Boston University to his current success of being the managing director. We spoke about a diversity of topics, so stay tuned. Before you start watching, please don't forget to like and share this video as well as subscribe to this channel and the Ruhaan Mathreja Shorts channel. Follow me on Instagram at ruhaan.mathreja and at the Success Show podcast. Once again, this is the Success Show podcast. Enjoy. Hi Abhyuday uncle, thank you so much for being on the show. It's an absolute honor to have you.
Thank you, Ruhaan. Thank you for having me, and very impressed with what you're doing.
Thank you so much. How have you been? How's everything at home?
Keeping good, keeping busy, just with life with work and then kids is, keeping me very busy and happy.
So overall a very hectic schedule.
Very hectic, absolutely.
So thank you so much for taking out your time, to have this podcast with me. So I wanted to start by asking you, how did you, what was your inspiration to join the family business, and what can you tell me a bit about your background and why you joined it? And yeah.
So I am managing director of Jindal Stainless currently, and school I did in Delhi. I went to Shriram School and I graduated from Pathways World School. And then I did, then actually it's very interesting. I was actually, when I was applying to college, because there was this already kind of, I won't say a pressure, but there was always a push from my father, from my uncles that, we are in the stainless steel business. When you come back from college, that is also something you have to take over and take up and grow the business, grow in the stainless steel field. So they all wanted me to be an engineer. That was what the recommendation, everyone came that plant is where the mainstay of our business is. And if you are an engineer, it can add a lot of value to the business. So when I actually was applying for college, everywhere in the US, I only applied to the US, I applied as an engineer. And then what happened is that just before going to college, I did a lot of, again, meetings. I went into the factory. I spent 2-3 months in the factory. And then I realized that being an engineer will not only add, it will add value, but there are so many other things that needs to be done. So then when the first day when I reached college, I actually switched to economics and business management. So then I did that. I was in Boston University for 4 years. When I came back, I did 1 year I spent understanding the stainless steel operations. So we have 2 plants. 6 months to 8 months actually I was in Odisha plant where it was in a construction phase and it was getting up and ready, and remaining 5-6 months I spent in a Hisar plant which is almost a 40-50 year old plant. So set operations, set processes and learned the business. After that I was a management trainee in JSW under my uncle Mr. Sajjan Jindal. So 1.5 years I was there with him. And then 1.5 years, I was a consultant with Boston Consulting Group. So on completing that, around 2014 and 15 beginning, I joined Jindal Stainless back again. So this was a little bit of my background. Then I took over in 2017 as managing director of Jindal Stainless. So this has been my kind of journey, just been learning about, the stainless steel industry, learning about the downstream applications, how we can improve the business, how we can grow the stainless steel domain, because in India it's still at a very nascent stage compared to the developed worlds. So that is one of my goals right now, that how can we increase the consumption of stainless steel in India.
So I think from what you just said, I already have maybe 2-3 other questions from that. Firstly, how was it growing up in such a big family with such a big legacy in this industry, and overall, and did you have any pressures? Was there a lot of pressure? I mean, you of course did mention that there was some sort of basic pressure from the family that you should join the stainless steel or steel industry in general. But what was your viewpoint on that, and how were you able to effectively deal with that pressure so that you were able to make best use of your skills and your expertise?
So there was never any pressure per se, if I can say. Their expectation was always that yes, I should come
You'll end
back
up
and join the
joining.
family
Yeah.
business and take it forward. But there was never any pressure that you can only do this or you have to do this. They were always very supportive in whatever I wanted to do. But because I have grown up seeing this, as a little kid with my grandfather, with my father, my uncles, I would always be visiting the factories, always see, what is happening. They would take me along. So I've grown up seeing these kind of manufacturing setup, big scale setup. So in my kind of vision also, I felt that yes, after college, definitely I do want to enter the family business. But not only do what they're doing. I want to grow the portfolio. I want to add some value. I want to do something that yes, Abhyuday has added this value into the family business. So that expectation was there, but it was always an interest and a want in myself that I take this up.
Yeah. So I think that is very impressive, to have such big ambitions. I think everyone who's probably listened to this, or personally even me as a student, has big ambitions to, change the country and, do something better, or, if not, do something that I'm passionate about. And that's something I really look up to you for doing. And you also spoke about Boston University and going there. So I wanted to ask you, how did the education, or what are a few things that you learned from there that you were able to effectively apply here, right from living over there away from parents to also, the lifestyle there, and any important advice you have for, students like me who are going to be going to university maybe next year or next to next year.
A lot of advice, and I wish somebody would have given me this advice also before going. So I went to Boston University, and it was the college has around 45,000 students. So my first recommendation would be that if you have the option, go to a smaller college, because even though my college had everything possible and it was an amazing college, but having 45,000 students, I could not really make those really close connections, if I can say, because there were so many multiple classes. Some classes had 100 students, so it became very difficult to connect, very difficult to stay in touch with them. So my first recommendation would be try to go to a smaller college. The best thing that I liked about studying in America and in Boston was that you could experiment. You could take up
The flexibility was there.
flexibility was very high,
Yeah.
which I really liked, especially for someone who is not very sure that this is what I want to do in life or this is the direction I want to go in. That really helped, because you can do various kind of classes from let's say, in labs you can go to computer labs, robotics you could take up classes, to psychology, compared to your other discipline that you want to focus in. So that would be my other advice, that undergraduate, when you're going for undergraduate education, it's really a time where you're discovering yourself, you're discovering your interests, you are away from home, so you get that opportunity to have freedom, to really learn about yourself, learn about what you see in life, what is important to you, where you would like to go. A lot of self learning, self growth happens during college. So I would really say experiment, try to do different things. Another thing that I really enjoyed doing, I traveled a lot. Whatever opportunity I got when I was there, I tried not to come back to India. Obviously, your bigger holidays, winter, summer, you have to come back to your family and everything. But any other break that I got, I would try to travel, try to experience, get new experiences. Maybe I had a lot of friends in other colleges, which all of us would have. So I would go visit them in those colleges also, see how the campus is, see how their life is. It was again a very good learning experience, gave you a lot of exposure. So those would be my, I would say, real two high level recommendations. And also, what if I can say, And honestly, there's not too much that I learned in college that I'm implementing now in my business life. It was more
Oh,
the
really?
exposure that I got, that the experience that I encountered, that has stayed with me a lot. But what I have learned, the in business world, experience is actually the best teacher. Your
Yeah.
college is very good to brush you up on all the jargons, you
Yeah.
know, so that it teaches you, and you're aware of the jargon and the terminology and the basic concepts. But the real learning that I got was getting my hands dirty, was coming
Yeah.
back, handling certain departments or handling certain functions or taking up projects on my own. That was where the real learning came over college. But college
Yeah.
was amazing time experience, and it's a must for everyone to do.
I think also the networking that you get over there is
Networking,
really
all of that.
amazing.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is amazing.
So, how was the lifestyle in the US? And if you had to compare it to India, of course there are a lot of differences. But would you say you preferred that lifestyle over the Indian lifestyle, or how was it for
See,
you?
it's a mix. India, especially, all of us, we have a lot of comforts, we have a lot of things that are taken care of. There you are on your own. So
Exactly.
it's a bit of a mix, I would say. There are some good points, bad points about both places. It's what each individual enjoys. But if I can speak for myself, I definitely enjoyed my time in the US. But after my 4 years of college, I was ready to come back to India. I was ready to work. I was ready to get back, to actually adding some value, growing myself more. So after
Yeah.
4 years, I was ready. But those 4 years, I really thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I think I'm sure I also can't wait,
Yes,
to some
absolutely.
extent to go and,
Another thing that
explore.
is extremely good in US is your extracurricular activities. So
Yeah.
that was something I really enjoyed. The level of sport there was so high that it really helped me raising my bar also. And in both the sports, I became a much better tennis player and basketball player after I, attended college, and I was active in
Yeah.
those fields, played with even seniors and all kinds of people. So, sporting activities, really, there's no better country than America when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think I agree with you when it comes to that, because even tennis programs, when I was looking at going for
Yeah,
tennis
you're
on a
the best one.
scholarship,
The best ones.
and yeah, they have one of the top programs as well. So you also mentioned working under Sajjan uncle in
Mm.
JSW, and can you tell me a bit about how his mentorship and leadership influenced you as a person, and how that whole process was of working in JSW to now
It
being
was
the MD of JSL.
it was a phenomenal learning experience, because someone of his level, who the amount that he's achieved, it really taught me a lot of things of how to, when I take over MD, how to run the business. He was always connected to the last mile, so that is one thing that I learned from him, that it would not be that if he has to find out something that's happening at the plant level, he would only call the plant head or the CEO of the business and get these answers. He would
Yeah.
be connected with absolutely the last person on the ground. He would know them by name, by face, and I've experienced this myself. And he would, if any information he wanted, or he wanted to communicate something, instead of a via channel medium, directly it would be to that person.
Yeah.
And that is something that I myself am trying to incorporate and trying to do, because it really shows that you are connected with the people, you know their pain points, and they are getting to know your thought process directly rather than through someone else's mouth. So
Yeah.
that is something I learned and I really appreciated. And the other thing that he taught me was that people in our position and our level have to take quick decisions.
Yeah.
He said that even if it's a wrong decision, the take a quick decision, but if it's wrong, be quick in your decision to again rectify it. Don't let it
Yeah.
lag on for a very long time. So that, he said, is something very important that he also learnt in his career, is taking quick decisions and rectifying it fast also if you're wrong. So these were two tremendous things that he taught me, and I learned from him how to also take care of your team around you, how to take them along with you, how to empower them. That is something that I learned from him. So that 1.5 years with him was such a great learning experience that I cannot, speak highly, even more highly about it. It was such a good experience for me.
Yeah, I think the fact that you mentioned that he used to know every employee's name and go up to them, get answers from them, itself says a lot about him as a person as well, and how big of a
Very,
leader he must have
very
been.
motivating for the person. Just imagine such a big organization, Mr. Sajjan Jindal, knowing, maybe an operating line head or even like the coke oven, one battery head. I just
Yeah,
was so impressed, and the person was so impressed. The motivation that he found, that Mr. Sajjan Jindal knows me personally. I mean, the motivation
yeah,
level, the kind of uh, delight in his face I could see, because I would travel with him, I would be in the factory with him, and the
yeah.
employee delight I could see, which is like, I thought that yes, this is something even I would like to do when I take over and I am running my own business.
Yeah, I think I completely agree with you on that. You also spoke about the quick decisions. Is there any real life example that you can give me of how you personally had to think really quick on your feet? I'm sure you must be doing that
That's an
on a
everyday.
daily
That
basis.
is an everyday phenomenon, but I still need to build a little bit more, I would say, confidence in myself also, that I should be able to take those quick decisions. Sometimes I'm also unsure, and I fear sometimes that don't take a wrong decision that can create a major impact or loss to the company. But I'm also trying to really push myself that let's take quick decisions, let's be on top of things even more.
Yeah.
So it's an everyday thing, something, on the top of my head, I'm not able to really recall at the moment, but every day there is something that we need to take.
Yeah, I'm sure. So I'd like to move on to the next part of this podcast, which would be about your leadership philosophy. Basically, you just we just spoke about Sajan Uncle and how the impact he had on you, and how he was such a integral part of your learning experience, and how he is such a good leader in your eyes as well. So can you tell me what your leadership philosophy is personally, apart from knowing every employee in the company, or making those quick snappy decisions? Is there anything else you want to add on what you personally
So
have learned from
one
yourself,
one
or
thing
anything
that
like that?
I always see myself as being an enabler.
Hmm.
That again, with that I see that I can help everyone to really achieve their targets, achieve their milestones, achieve what they're trying to do. That is where I feel that I play a good role, bridging the gaps, connecting people with each other, with the external world to internal, or even internal stakeholders together. So that has always been my style, and that is what I communicate very regularly in my town halls, in my meetings, is that I'm an enabler for you people. Please use me as that. I might not be an expert in certain areas, but I can definitely enable you in achieving the company's goals, achieving the company's targets. So that has always been my kind of approach. Other approach of mine is always trying to build the most high performing effective team. So legacy driven companies always have seniority based kind of promotions happening. So that is something I
Yeah.
always am trying to change and rectify, that it should be meritocracy based. Just because you have been in the company for 25, 30 years doesn't make it your right that you are now leading a certain function or a department. If
Yeah.
you are proving you're going the extra mile, you're working, you're developing yourself, that is something that I always value, and I would like to promote more meritocracy based promotion. Second thing that I always value, and I try to work on myself also, and I'm trying to push everybody else, is that we should always be lifelong learners. Just because we might be an expert in a certain field doesn't mean there's nothing more that we can learn, or new technologies keep
Yeah.
coming up. So we need to keep ourselves very agile. That in any business, I would say, in anything that you're doing, agility in this day and age has become so important. So I myself am trying to be more agile in terms of learning new ways of new technology, or new management practices, or new ways of connecting with people, And same way,
Yeah.
I'm trying to push everyone in my organization also, that let's all be lifelong learners, let's be agile, let's bring in technology, because if we don't innovate, then that will be the first step towards the company or yourself kind of
The
uh,
downfall of it. Yeah.
going down. Absolutely.
So I think, when I've spoken to a lot of people, and all of them have always said that, never stop learning, and learning is really important for you in life. Education and knowledge is always going to take you far and somewhere.
Yeah.
So also, you spoke about innovation right now. So I wanted to ask you, what are some recent innovations or trends that have been a part of the stainless steel industry in particular, and how is JSL being able to adapt to those changes and making those moves?
So very, very good question. So always that is one thing that I've been trying to implement in the organization is bringing in new technology, which brings in innovation. So we actually have been the first company in many fields to take up newer technologies. So we're one of the first, we are the first stainless steel company to set up a green hydrogen plant in our unit. So we're really focusing on environmental, social and governance, ESG, which has become a very hot topic. That we're innovating in a lot, wherever we can replace oil, propane, LDO with green hydrogen. We are trying to do that. Everywhere. We were one of the first companies to go for a total logistic management system that is automated. So everything to do with our logistics, from truck ordering to placement to even tracking of it as and when it's traveling across the length and breadth of India. We are tracking each and every kg of ours now. So a lot of technological innovation we have brought in. Then another innovation that we have brought in is the way we sell stainless steel now. We're trying to get more and more connected to the customer. This new, it's maybe not a new concept in the world, but a new concept that we initiated in stainless steel was a Jindal Sathi concept. So a very good
Okay.
example I can say is it's similar to Intel Inside. So Intel was the processor, and they would tie up with, or they would supply to IBM or Microsoft or any of your Compaq, any of your PC makers. So we,
Yeah.
being a stainless steel producer, because we don't make the end product, but because people have faith that if it's coming from Jindal Stainless, then it's genuine stainless steel. We're getting what we are paying for. So we kind of did a co-branding initiative with our customers, where it
That's
is
like
your brand.
increasing the customer
Yes,
loyalty and
customer
brand image
loyalty,
improvement.
customer presence. Our
Yeah.
customer also grows, and we also grow with that. So it's kind
Yeah.
of like it is, let's say, for example, it is Ruhan's product, but with Jindal inside.
Yeah.
So it's like a combination. Ruhan is the brand, and they're taking it forward, but the material has come from Jindal, so that uh,
Yeah.
that confidence in the quality, in the
Reliability and yeah.
material, all that stays. So that has been
Exactly.
something very unique that we started, and that has worked wonders for us. Now we want to increase that further in other domains also. So at every level, actually, HR, lot of innovation we have tried to bring in, trying to make it a more robust organization where we're giving proper feedback, we are growing each other, cross-functional teams are working together. So innovation, I think, is something that legacy-driven companies require a lot, and
Yeah.
that is why in every field I'm trying to bring in some kind of innovation. Most of it, or maximum, is with technology. So even at plant level, lot of technology we're trying to use to improve quality, to improve efficiency, yield, and innovate further from that, in that manner.
I think you also just spoke about sustainability and how overall I think the world is moving toward the more sustainable future.
Mhm.
And I think JSL has installed renewable energy. I think
Yes.
solar
We have already
power.
announced that by 2047 we'll be
Hmm.
completely carbon neutral, and
Yeah.
I really feel that even before that we will achieve it. Now all our expansion that we are doing is only backed by renewable, mainly
Yeah.
solar and wind at the moment.
I think that's really great because it's also, y'all are already prepared for what's gonna come and the
Yeah,
next
we all
steps
need to
of
work towards
growing.
saving the world. It's going to be
Yeah,
a joint effort that every citizen of this world has to kind of work towards. So we at Jindal
definitely.
Stainless are already kind of trying to do as much as we can.
Yeah. So, do you have any, future plans or any vision for the company to grow? Of course, you mentioned, one of them was the by 2047 becoming completely carbon neutral and, moving to sustainable energy and overall just being sustainable as a whole sustainable company. So, are there any other, visions or goals you have for the company in particular, or maybe even for yourself?
So
You know.
particularly for the company, if I can say, I think we are still scratching the surface at the moment in India when it comes to stainless steel. So I still feel there is so much growth that is still to happen, and that is my, like I was sharing earlier also, that creating more awareness of stainless steel. This material has so much benefit that if people are aware and they understand the benefits and the kind of life cycle costing over a time period they will save, it will become the material of choice. So this for us, I think now stainless steel is going to grow at easily at 10% in India for the next 15 years. That is
Yeah.
the amount of growth that is to come. So there is enough work for us to do. I'm trying to take the whole stainless steel industry along with us. We are doing a lot of training, upskilling, and education to the industry that not only benefits Jindal Stainless but the whole stainless steel fraternity together. So
Yeah.
we've launched programs in all kinds of IITs. In IIT Bombay, there's a stainless chair. We're doing Stainless Academy where we're going across India training fabricators, railway workers, welders, how to really work with stainless steel, how to improve the quality and skill sets of stainless steel. So that
Yeah.
definitely is one vision for the company to grow. For myself, I am definitely, in my own nature, quite ambitious. I want to grow more and more, not
Yeah.
only in stainless steel but in other fields also that I can add to, India, that I can add to my own portfolio, to the group's portfolio. So that is something at the moment I'm trying to explore. I'm trying to study again, looking at newer technologies, newer areas of growth to come in. And another goal for me is to make India a superpower. I am a patriot. I really love our country. I really feel that next 15 years is the time for India. We're going to see
Yeah.
a lot of growth happening in India, a lot of Indian companies acquiring big global companies outside. And I really want to be an enabler again in making India a superpower. So that would be
Yeah.
another personal goal that I can see for myself.
I think I wish you and the company the best for this because I'd love to see this happen myself too.
No, thank you, and I would love for you
Yeah.
also to join in some way to contribute to this.
Definitely, I will. I will for sure. So, if you can disclose this, what has been Jindal Stainless's biggest client till date, and can you tell me a bit about that experience for you?
It's not the biggest client, if I can say, because we are supplying stainless steel goes in every field, every application. But I would say one very prestigious and something that we at Jindal Stainless are very proud of is that we are actually Gillette's biggest supplier. More than
Yeah.
Gillette being our biggest customer, we are Gillette's biggest supplier globally. So almost 33% of their global output is taken care by us, and we are supplying to every factory of theirs from Brazil to Mexico, US, China, India, Europe, in Berlin, everywhere we are there. And
Yeah.
year on year, we're winning awards from them for being one of their top
That's great.
suppliers with good quality measures. So that is something very prestigious for us. Another thing that has been a new initiative that we have entered is into the defense and aerospace sector. So
Yeah.
now Jindal Stainless is part of every satellite launch in India,
It
and
was
that
a
is
part of
again
the one that happened
Chandrayaan.
recently, right?
We were part of
Chandrayaan, yeah.
Chandrayaan,
Yeah.
and that was something very prestigious for us because from the launch pad to in the rocket also our material has gone. So that again is enabling, and Jindal Stainless is supporting India to become a superpower. and so that's another thing that we're very proud of also. And
Yeah,
I
I
mean, there are
think,
many success stories I can share.
yeah,
Another one that is very quite impressive is that we are part of the nuclear fusion project. So that is
okay,
the new focus area, or that has been actually a big topic in the energy sector. That nuclear fusion, if we're able to crack it in a way that it's safe, then it will just solve the world's energy problems. So
yeah,
only two companies in globally were selected from a stainless steel perspective in this, and we were one of them.
that's amazing. That's really great. So, you know, so much work. In the start of this podcast, I asked you how your day has been, and you said it's really, really hectic. So, how do you balance your work with your personal life, with children, traveling, etc.? And how you able to, effectively take time out for certain things, even like this podcast with me, because I think time management is key for even a small student like me who really wants to excel at something. And that's something I've asked almost everyone I've spoken to, is that how do you manage your time, or do you have any tips to for someone as young as me to manage my own time?
So, one thing that I do which definitely helps me out is I plan my calendar well in advance. So, already sitting today, my calendar 80% is set for the next 2 weeks, definitely. So that's why I put like our call I already put in when you got in touch with me, so it's fixed. Once it's fixed, then I know I have given time for it, and my
Yeah,
office does not give another meeting or some other interaction at the same
another
time.
commitment to that.
So
Yeah.
yes, so I try to plan it well in advance. 2 weeks ahead, I try to plan my calendar, and I think work-life balance is very important. So I like to play sports also, but I only get time now during the weekends. I work out every morning, so that is a very good, I would say, start to the day. Some days I do yoga, some days I do some weight training and everything. Weekends
You've
I'm
started
also
paddle, right?
I played paddle on Sundays now. My tennis has reduced because of paddle. You're right.
I.
So Saturdays I'm trying to play tennis. Sundays, because with friends I play paddle. So Sundays I try to play paddle.
Yeah.
Uh, and the maximum time that I actually give is to my wife and kids after work.
Yeah.
Because they are such amazing stress busters for me, and I have two small kids right now, so they're really
Yeah.
amazing stress busters for me. So I love to spend time with my wife and kids. We go do whatever we can, swimming or some other kind of activity we try to do, or play some games together. So that is the main way I try to keep a work-life balance. Travel
I
as
think
and
the.
when I can also, but that is the main few things that I do. And I read a lot, so that's another
Yeah.
recommendation I can give. I read a lot. I now less and less time is coming from reading because so many emails and other things are also there to always reply to. But
Yeah.
I love to read. I still try to take out time if I can, even half an hour during the day to try to read something, or over lunch I read, or now in the car also I started reading, which is not the best, but
Yeah.
time is limited. So in the car also I'm reading sometimes.
I was going to ask you about your reading, and because you are a book lover, and I was
Yeah.
going to ask you if you have any books that you'd recommend for people like teenagers or people my age who want to get into business, or even that teach you life lessons that are really important,
There are
that are
so
stuck with
many.
you.
There are so many that I have read. There are these two books that I am actually recommending, which I just recently read both of them. One is Psychology of Money, and
Yeah,
one is
I've heard of
Same as
that one.
Ever. Both are very good books, very easy to read, and they really talk about the way the world works, the way the
Yeah.
world thinks, and it's very practical. And I really enjoyed reading these two books. But there are so many. Maybe I can send you a list some other time, and
Sure,
you can maybe
definitely.
share that, because
Yeah.
I mean, depending on what kind of field I've read books on talent, I like to read because, like I said, I feel I'm an enabler and I can add value to people's work and journey. So I've read a lot of books on talent, how to retain, build talent. So there's business side. There are a lot from I before before I joined the business community or till college, I was only a fiction reader. So I've read every Jeffrey Archer book, and I highly recommend. Now, most people might have seen Game of Thrones, the show, but
Yeah.
if somebody has not, the books are the best, I can say, fiction books I have ever read. Phenomenally, the way he goes into each character's psyche, it was tremendous for me to read. Now I don't read fiction at all. It's more business
Yeah.
driven and self-learning books. Those are the
Yeah.
ones that I'm focusing on.
The process of never stop learning is still on for you,
Still on. It's
and
still on.
learning from the non-fiction books. So I think this is the end of this part of our podcast. I just wanted to do a quick rapid fire round with you, and then we can get done with this podcast. So what's your favorite book? I think you already just give me one favorite book. It can be even a fiction
There's
one
so
or
many to just think from the top of my head, but maybe you can right now, same as ever, we can say that at the moment.
Okay. Where's your favorite vacation destination?
Favorite vacation is Maldives is definitely my favorite, I can say.
Yeah. And what's your favorite movie or TV show?
So my
I think that may
favorite,
be a hard one.
it's a very hard one. I'm an avid movie and TV show watcher also, and I can say a favorite TV show, I would have to go for Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones again, between the two. And my favorite movie, I really enjoyed all the Lord of the Rings trilogy. That I would say is something that I really enjoyed, and also these Amir Khan movies like PK and Three Idiots
Lagan
and
and
Lagan, and there was another one I'm not recalling, but I think some of these movies that actually have a meaning along with entertainment, those I really enjoyed. So I don't watch Hindi movies too much, but most Amir Khan movies I end up watching because he has a message, he has something to share with the audience.
I think even Tare Zameen Par was
Tare
a
Zameen
very
Par is
good.
amazing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies, Tare Zameen Par. Absolutely.
Uh, who's your favorite tennis player?
It used to be Andre Agassi for a long time, but I would say my GOAT would be Roger Federer.
Okay, I was really hoping you would say that because I'm a big Federer fan.
Yeah, same.
And
Even though Djokovic is amazing, and I think he's beaten Federer anyway in number of titles.
Yeah.
But I think for me it's Federer.
I think I completely agree with you on that because I think Federer has that elegance and class of playing that no one can ever match. But
You just
on
connect with him so well because of it.
but then on the other hand, there's Djokovic who's breaking records and still up and
Djokovic is
running.
amazing, his fitness level and what he has achieved, and full credit to him. But
Yeah,
it is just
definitely.
like
Yeah.
you mentioned, it is the aura of Federer that attracts you more than I would say just his tennis skills.
And best piece of advice that you have ever received personally?
Don't be afraid to fail. Best advice.
I think I've heard that from my parents as well in general, and other people who I've spoken to.
Sorry?
I've heard that from other people I've spoken to as well as my parents, for
Important
example.
advice, because people always feel that if I fail, then people will see me as a failure. They will not trust me. But it's the best and it's the best learning experience ever. So don't be afraid to fail, experiment, push your boundaries. I think that is my best advice I have got.
And one success mantra that you follow really religiously?
I think never stop learning.
Learning,
I
thought
think
so.
is a very big success mantra. If you feel now I know everything, I'm a expert in my field, I don't need to know or nobody else can come and teach me, that is when you start, then you will fail. I think just always, and this is the next book I'm going to read is on Adam Grove. He was the person who really set up Intel and created Intel. So like I said, I'm a fan of Intel itself, and that's the next book. And the book is, I think, Only the Paranoid Survive. So I think that's also another good mantra, that always be paranoid in your business. Don't feel that you have made it or now you're set. Keep innovating, keep trying to
There's
test the market.
always something out there that you
There's
have to
always
strive
something
for.
out
And
there.
yeah, if you could live anywhere in this world, if you had to shift somewhere, if you had to live anywhere, where would it be? Would it be Maldives, or Maldives is more of a vacation home?
I know more of a vacation. I would still say India, because I see this as the land of opportunity and I see tremendous growth happening somewhere in India. I won't per se say Delhi or Bombay or something. India would be my good option. And another place that I'm a big fan of is again California. So if I don't see myself living in India, California would be another option I would like to pick.
And if you could go back and give yourself, your 18-year-old self, a piece of advice, what would it be? Basically, around my age. So, if you had to give me advice right now, what
If
would
you
it
know
be?
what I said about when you're selecting a college, those are some of the key pieces of advice I would give. That would really help you in picking the right college, picking the right kind of place to study. So those I would say would be the thing. Another advice that I would give, which also helped me, is I did internships. When I was in college, I did a lot of internships. So my recommendation is, don't waste time doing internships too early, because you yourself don't know what value you can add, and even the other side, if I'm being honest, doesn't know how to make use of you. They give you internships and they go. So definitely in your senior, like I'm talking in your, let's say, 4-year college, maybe as a junior and as a senior, you can take up some internship to actually figure out what you like or what you don't like. But in your first few years, please enjoy yourself, don't go for internship. Like, to give again my example, I was an intern at Deutsche Bank for 3 months over the whole summer, and my biggest takeaway was that I cannot work in a bank. you know that was my
Yeah.
biggest takeaway, that this is not for me. And it's a big learning that that, okay, the financial sector or a banking channel per se was something that I just did not find interesting or exciting. So that also is maybe another recommendation for a young person.
And lastly, if you had to enter any other industry apart from a one that you're currently a part of, what would it be?
I would say, I think now AI is such an exciting area that
Yeah.
everyone's exploring and expanding into. That today I can say AI maybe is something that I would like to. But earlier, and that was something that I was very much interested in, which might be somewhere in my future I could get into, was nuclear energy. That is another area that I was very
Interested in, and yeah.
interested in, and I did a lot of research and a lot of work on it when I was in college and everything. And I had the chance with my uncle to go visit India's first nuclear power plant also.
Oh,
I mean, if I can do something in the future in nuclear energy, I would love to do that.
I think that's really great. I think you have mentioned nuclear energy quite a lot in this podcast, so I think it would be really great to see you also, contribute to that field as well. So I think this is the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
your
I
time
really
out
enjoyed
to,
myself. I
being here.
really enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much, and have a really great day.
Thank you, Ruhan, and all the best. And
Thank you
happy
so
to support
much.
anything else in the future also.
Thank you. Thank you.